why do I have to pay $300 a month for car insurance?
Hey everybody, Jason Barlow here with Sell for 1%. I'm joined by my brother, Jamie Barlow, and the man on the streets, Dave Barlow, the broker, who's got a term of the week for us. Father, go ahead, take it away.
Title insurance. What is title insurance and why do we need title insurance?
Oh, ripoff.
It's a ripoff until you need it. Just like your car insurance or your house insurance. Why do I have to pay $300 a month for car insurance? Well, when you get into an accident, if you get into an accident, then you're going to be happy that you have it. And the same thing with title insurance. It's one of those things that not many claims are ever made. And that's primarily because the title insurance attorneys are very, very good at crossing their T's and dotting their I's and limiting the exposure for the title insurance company to ever have a claim against them. From the
What are they limiting their
side,
exposure from? What is title insurance?
well, the title insurance ensures that the house is free and clear of all lien, anything that could impact the title. So best and highest lien is always what, Jay?
Property taxes.
There you go. You're right on it. And that, no matter what, is always the first and highest, has to be paid first whenever you sell a property. And then from there, you're going to have normally, if you're financing a property, the second highest and best lien is going to be your first mortgage company. So if you're taking a loan out on the property, your or your insurance, or I'm all over the place. Your mortgage company is going to require that title insurance be provided to you as the homeowner. And they make the lender the default. So if anything would happen to come back, that, let's say, one of the common things here in Central Ohio is not your water bill, but your sewer bill. A sewer can be attached to and made a lien on your property if you don't pay primarily your water bill. And so what the lenders want to make sure is that all previous liens, including property taxes, your water bill, if there are any other mortgages, a first, a second, there's even third mortgages out there. Everything's been cleared off.
Mechanics lien.
Well, mechanics lien can happen. Yes, sir. And that generally is when a worker does work on your home and you don't pay them. The interesting thing about a mechanic,
So why is the lender making the buyer get this title insurance?
well, they're making the buyer get title insurance so that, again, if anything comes up later on down the road, that the lender has coverage. And so here in Columbus, the seller provides the title insurance per the Columbus Board of Realtors purchase contract. But in other municipalities around the state, Dayton, Cincinnati, Cleveland, it's the buyer who pays for the title insurance. And so Columbus is one of the few that the seller actually pays for the title insurance. And again, it's primarily for the lender. But if we have a cash buyer, well, then that cash buyer certainly is going to want title insurance to cover their expense. And so, Jamie, we have a situation going right now where you have a buyer purchasing a listing that I have that the previous title insurance was not done correctly. And so we went to get this thing closed, and there is a cloud on the title because it was not done correctly. And it was done by a very large title insurance company. I think they're the third largest in the country. They do title insurance all around the country, and they just didn't do the title insurance correctly 20 years ago. So when we went to close on this popped up as an issue. And so now the title insurance company is unwinding it. And basically what we have to do is that the lender that sold the property in a foreclosure about 20 years ago has to sign a quitclaim deed so that the seller can be in title properly and then transfer that title to Jamie's buyer properly. And so that's the primary things that are going on with title insurance. Mechanic's lien is a simple where you have a worker do work. The seller decides, or the homeowner decides not to pay the worker. The worker can go downtown, file a mechanic's lien. The interesting thing with the mechanic's lien is that it can be placed on a property immediately. So if you're trying to sell the house and you decide you're not going to pay this worker for their work, they can go down, file a claim, and it'll be on there tomorrow. It's not like a tax lien where they have to go to court, or a foreclosure where they have to go to court. The sewer bill can be applied right away as well, but mechanics are a little bit differently, and they can get cleaned up just as quick by making the payment. So
When I've seen court
So-
cases cloud title before as well, and I believe it was a parking ticket from 2005 that had accumulated interest, and the seller was not able to sell his property until he had paid it off. Does that sound
Well,
familiar to
in
you?
those-
A pending
in those
court case?
cases, and like a tax lien, a federal tax lien, what they do is that they file a lien against the property. So
Right.
if they know that you own 123 ABC Street, they can go and get a court-ordered lien against the property, and then that way, once you go to sell it, they pretty
Get
much
your title
guarantee-
insurance, they find that out.
Well, it doesn't matter at the time. During the like if you went out, you owned a house, you went out, did whatever, that person files a lien against the property that you own. It doesn't impact anything until you go to closing. And then the title insurance company, when they're doing their research, will find that there's this lien against the property you're trying to sell, and they're going to make you bring that lien current in order to sell. And so
Yep,
a lot of times
and
it's
so
just done right at the closing table.
And so basically, title insurance is an insurance policy that's going to protect the buyer of the home against liens that are not that buyer's liens. So he'll be protected and know that he has clean title.
The new buyer, yes.
And I've had some in the past where the title company did their initial search, no liens popped up, and then in between the title search and closing, a lien got filed. And in this particular one, it was another buyer who was trying to purchase a property off market, and he filed a lien and some kind of affidavit. And the title companies are supposed to do an update before closing, but sometimes, like the sewer bill is a good example of ones that sometimes are not filed and then get missed. And so then the title company is on the hook to make that payment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
because
why
they've
ask,
ensured that everything is clear, and when in fact it's not.
and that's why they have the seller sign an affidavit at closing that there's no other liens or things are going to pop
Sure.
up after closing.
But that's why, as a buyer, you really want title insurance. We've had buyers off market make deals with sellers where they don't get title insurance. We've had some serious nightmares that have unwound, and I mean, we've got some where people are making fake email addresses and pretending to be people and claiming things to people and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yep. And we've all heard the stories that, there's a company out there that makes pretty good living called Title Lock. And basically what they do is help you lock down the title to your home so that somebody can't go in, as you just said, and say, hey, I'm Jason Barlow and I'm doing a quitclaim deed to my cousin Billy Bob Thornton, and they end up selling the house out from underneath of you. So yeah, there's all kinds of crazy things that happen out there in the world today. And so you just want to be precautious. If you're buying a property, if you're paying cash, you want that title insurance just as much as the lender wants title insurance to protect your asset. And that's what it is. It's your asset that you're putting money out for. So, all right, guys, good discussion. I appreciate your time and the examples and the thoughts. And, if you're out there, you're thinking about buying a home, you want more information, we're tied into it pretty tightly. We talk to title insurance and attorneys almost on a daily basis, it seems like. And when things pop up, we're one of the few groups, I think, that you'll find out there that kind of know the process to go about in order to unwind a problem and an issue. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer by Jamie's buyers being somewhat patient with us as we kind of work through. And it's like, it's always scary because you don't really know. And he's a cash buyer. And it's like, you want the title insurance. You want this done correctly. And so that's what we're in the process of doing. And Jay, you mentioned that, you had these things pop up. I don't know if you remember, a number of years ago, I had a house in Upper Arlington, and we were doing what's called a short sale on it. We would get to like the week of closing and another lien would pop up, and it'd take 2-3 weeks to unwind that lien and then go to closing. Then another lien would pop up. I think it took us about 9 months, 10 months to get that one done because of these liens as they continue to pop up. So again, this is what we do. This is how we make sure that your largest asset in many, many cases is protected, and making sure that you're taken care of. So contact information is here. Like and subscribe if you like this information. Sometimes we get a little long-winded. Sorry about that. But there's also a ton of information to know when you go to purchase a property, and that's what we're here for. We're Sell for 1%. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, and we'll talk to you next week on Term of the Week.